We start with the news with Minister for Power Adebayo Adelabu has ordered the immediate replacement of outdated equipment in the power sector as a decisive move to tackle the persistent issue of national grid failures. Adelabu has directed the Transmission Company of Nigeria and other agencies within the ministry to implement recommendations from the Inter-Agency Committee established to address these frequent grid collapses. The minister assured the public that these equipment upgrades would be completed within the next 6 months. This directive comes as TCN reported a recent grid disturbance at 11:29 a.m. on Thursday, 7th November 2024, attributed to a sharp frequency rise from 50.33 Hz to 51.44 Hz. In the meantime, the Transmission Company of Nigeria has attributed Thursday's national grid collapse to ongoing repair efforts in the power sector. In a statement, TCM spokesperson Didimba explained that the grid disturbance occurred around 11:29 a.m., triggered by a sudden rise in frequency from 50.33 Hz to 51.44 Hz. While assuring the public of continued efforts to improve the grid stability, Mba noted that some level of instability may continue until major repair work across the power sector is fully completed. And so staying with news concerning the power sector, the Lagos State government has called for proposals from independent power producers and energy solution providers to construct gas-fired power plants aimed at addressing the state's ongoing electricity shortfall. The initiative, led by the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources in collaboration with the Office of Public-Private Partnerships, is part of efforts to improve power supply chain through the clean Lagos electricity market. In a joint statement, Biodun Ogunleye, Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources, and Bukola Odoye, Special Advisor on Public-Private Partnerships, highlighted the urgent need for reliable energy solutions in Lagos, a city of over 20 million residents. Officials said Lagos currently demands over 6 gigawatts of electricity, but receives less than 2 gigawatts from the national grid during peak times, underscoring the necessity of this initiative to meet the city's growing power needs. Let's turn to security matters now. Nigeria's Defense Headquarters has announced the existence of a new terrorist sect in the northwestern part of the country known as the Karawas. The director of Nigeria's Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, while accusing residents of some of the states in the region for embracing the group, he says that they refuse to report the activities of the terrorists. General Buba, however, assured citizens that the operations are currently ongoing to dislodge them from the country. News Central's Amadine Uyi has more in this report.
The briefing was supposed to update citizens of the ongoing operations against terrorist groups and criminal elements across the country. However, it came as a shock to those present as the director of the Defense Media Operations announced that the military had identified the existence of a new terrorist group in the northwestern region of the country.
Troops are confronted with a new terrorist sect in the northwest. This sect is known as Lakurawa. The Lakurawas are affiliated to terrorists from the Sahel, particularly from Mali and Niger republics. They began incursion into northwestern part of Nigeria, namely Sokoto and Kebbi states. And like I mentioned, they came in from Niger and the Mali axis.
He accused residents in the area of embracing the group, but assured that the military is already working round the clock to dislodge them from the country.
When they came in, did the people see them? They saw them. What did they do? They embraced them rather than report them. And what has that resulted to? The people saw them as friends. The same friends they thought were friends have turned to foes. And we did not get this report on time until we started creating some havoc. We are on top of that situation. We have sustained our intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, and accordingly carried out air interdiction, ground offensives to degrade these terrorists, find them, flush them, until we finally defeat them, the same way we have defeated terrorist groups in the northeastern part of this country.
The director urged citizens to be security conscious and partner with the military, especially in the area of intelligence sharing. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Led by Mohammed Marwa, a.k.a. Mai Tatsine, this radical religious group emerged in Kano with anti-establishment ideologies, sparking deadly riots in the 1980s. Following Nigeria's return to democracy, some northern states adopted Sharia law, leading to increased religious polarization and fueling extremist sentiments. Founded by Muhammad Yusuf, Boko Haram emerged in Maiduguri, promoting a hardline Islamic ideology and opposing Western influences in education and governance. Abubakar Shekau took leadership of Boko Haram, escalating violence and targeting civilian governments, institutions and schools in a campaign of terror. A splinter group from Boko Haram, Ansaru, adopted a more global terrorist approach, aligning with Al-Qaeda and targeting foreigners in Nigeria. Criminal groups initially focused on kidnapping and counter-rustling began to adopt terror tactics, blending crime with political violence, especially in the northwest. It is believed that some of their commanders were once Boko Haram members. Well, away from that, organizers of the End Bad Governance protest held in August across several states nationwide are staging a peaceful march in Ikeja, Lagos. The group is calling for the release of its members who remain detained and are currently on trial. They argue that those detained should not face harsh penalties for participating in the August protest, which was a response to rising hunger and hardship. Currently, we do have our man, Ni Omoni, who joins us live from Ikeja, where the march is underway. Good morning to you, Ni.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Ni. Can you bring us up to speed with what the latest is? We can find so many persons there in Ikeja, and the protest, they say, is peaceful. But can you tell us what's really happening? Security forces, the people, and earlier on you had talked about the demands. What's the latest concerning all of that?
Catch a glimpse of what they want to address the people who are gathered here right now, and they want to tell them what the next line of action is. So, okay, just hold on. Okay, so while I wait for that, they are not yet talking about the address to move from here, because earlier when I mentioned they were going to march from here, which is Ikeja Underbridge, where we are currently, to the Chief Judge's office, the Lagos State Chief Judge's office, and submit an appeal letter, if I can put it that way, for the release, calling for the release of all the protesters, even as the president has released most of the minors, which are over 114, if I'm not mistaken, so far. But I'm here with one of the organizers of the End Bad Governance protest and the movement, of the End Bad Governance protest in Lagos here. What are the demands here? What's this protest for? We mentioned earlier that you are fighting for the release of all other protesters. Do you think this will work? The reason why these protesters were arrested in the first place was because they protested, and now you're out here again protesting. Do you think this is the way forward?
The freedom of expression is enshrined in our constitution, which no one can take away. Even in the Bible, God gave freedom to his creatures. And so what is happening in Nigeria today is an aberration. It's total aberration to the constitution and total aberration to the rules that God has stated for we, the human being, to have access to move freely and to associate freely. Now, we're here today to register our displeasure and to actually call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to release and to acquit all those who participated in End Bad Governance protests, who are currently facing treasonable felony charges. We are saying an injury to one is an injury to all. Now, few days ago, few people were released, And what surprised us was this. Minors were sent to prison. And the president came to say, I'm releasing them. And it shocked us to see, or to notice, that the same children that were released quickly had an ashwebi on them. As if the government was really prepared for the drama the government was acting. It's an aberration. Now, some of our comrades today, Lenin and Co, Adaramoye, are currently on trial today at the Federal High Court in Abuja. And we're saying that the government should extend that same amnesty granted to others, to the same people. We should not forget in a quick that Mr. President is a captain of protester.
What do you mean by he's a captain of protesters? In summary, please.
Right from the time I knew our president, he has only been protesting. He protested during the annulment of June 12th. He protested to become a senator. He protested to be a governor in Lagos State. He protested to be a president of this country.
How did he protest to be a president of this country?
In Yoruba language, and when you say Emilokon, meaning is my turn, it means there are other people on queue. And you are now raising your voice. Emilokon, it's my turn. Give it to me. It's a language of protest. And he protested and he got it. In 2012, during Jonathan, most of the people in government today, not excluding the president of Nigeria today, participated actively in that 2012 protest.
Okay, in all right now, if your demands are not met, because today is also the court proceedings, the trial of the 11 protesters you are calling for their release, if your demands are not met right now, what is the next line of action?
We will continue. We will continue protesting.
You are not minding if they are going to arrest more protesters while you protest?
Arrest us. We are ready to be arrested. We are ready to be arrested. That is why we are daring the state. You can see police everywhere. We want to be arrested. Let them charge us of treasonable felony. We are ready. We are ready. Is there in government that fears prison? We don't fear prison. Look at every protester here is on gin. Gin is a cloth of struggle. So when they pick us, we are ready to face the consequence. But we're saying protest, peaceful protest should not be criminalized. It shouldn't be criminalized for whatsoever reason. And that's our position. Thank you.
Thank you. I will start with the comments he made that every protester here is on gin. Well, I can see much of gin, but not every protester here is on gin. But I think what he's just trying to say is that they are ready for the struggle. And as he has claimed, I would have wanted to know other. Okay, let me ask one person. Sir, you're here, I believe, to protest and call for the release of other protesters.
Yes.
Would you mind to be arrested just to get those ones released?
I'm ready to be arrested.
You're ready to be arrested?
I am available to be arrested.
All right. So that's the second person making a confirmation. I was just trying to confirm what Comrade Declan mentioned, saying that he doesn't mind being arrested, and almost everybody here doesn't mind being arrested so that they can get the protesters released. But the question will now be, if they are arrested, who are calling for the release of the protesters, then who will protest when they are arrested? Then it becomes a cycle. Over to you, Ido.
Well, get back to you. Hopefully, we'll see if the match would move to Alausa, which happens to be one of the target areas that the peaceful protesters are looking to reach. But then again, if you just tuned in, this is News Now. We'll go for a break, and when we return, NITCOM warns diasporan investors to authenticate businesses before investing. Stay with us for that story and more. Welcome back. Governor Alex Otti has renamed Abia State Polytechnic Aba to Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu Polytechnic Aba. The governor announced this on Thursday during the commendation service for Dr. Onu, the former civilian governor of Abia State who recently passed away. News Central's Chinwe Ogele reports that there were lots of encomiums poured by the people at the service, which was held at the Ochendo International Conference Center in Umuahia.
Abia State government organized the commendation service in honor of late Uwenayano, the first civilian governor of the state. His family, political associates and friends inside this hall came to identify with him in death. The Catholic Bishop of Umuahia Diocese, His Lordship Michael Okpong, in his reflection, reminded all to emplace legacies that will outlive them.
His time is up before God, as it will be for each and every one of us. Each person has his own appointed time to leave this world. He has been before us in the casket is a reminder to each and every one of us what the end looks like. Nobody escapes it. But what is important is what do you go from here with?
Although in office as governor for a year and 8 months, between 1992 and 1993, lots of people testified to the many impacts he made while in office. Former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, describes him.
Gentleman, honest man, integrity. These are the words that suit him.
Governor Alex Otim, his remarks noted that Ono possessed qualities to be the nation's president, recounting all his numerous achievements as governor.
Dr. Ono's administrative journeys inspired the setting up of the Abia State Polytechnic, Aba, the Abia State College of Education Technical, Arochukwu, the National Ambassador newspaper. It is also important to recall that it was under Governor that the Federal University of Agriculture, Umudike, now Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, was established.
Governor Oti thereafter announced the renaming of Abia Polytechnic, Aba.
We as a state have taken the decision to immortalize him by renaming the Abia State Polytechnic, Aba, after him. Polytechnic will henceforth be known as Dr. Ogunaya Ono Polytechnic, Aba.
The first son of late Uwenayano Obiora, who says he misses his dad, says his father lived a life of sacrifice.
He lived for humanity, he lived for Nigeria, he gave so much to Nigeria, and hopefully he inspired people to follow in his footsteps.
Ogunayano's last assignment was as a Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation in the Muhammadu Buhari's administration. In Umuahia for News Central, I am Chinwe Ugili.
And now to some health matters. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, has announced that free cesarean sections would be provided to Nigerian women in need. Pate made this announcement at the ongoing 3-day Nigeria Health Sector-wide Joint Annual Review in Abuja during the launch of the Maternal Mortality Reduction Innovation Initiative. According to him, the initiative represents a commitment to reducing maternal and newborn mortality across Nigeria. This was established in a tweet posted on the official X handle of the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, stating this. The objective of the Joint Annual Health Review is to conduct a thorough assessment of Nigeria's healthcare system, identifying challenges and implementing impactful solutions to ease both the physical and financial burdens on Nigerians. Let's also tell you that several children with special needs, including those with Down syndrome resident in Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria, are receiving psychosocial and mental health therapy to help them develop self-dependent skills. This initiative, which is being organized by the Friends Advocacy Mental Health Initiative in the state capital, aims to help the children harness their potentials through creative activities like artistic painting. News Central's Idong Joseph has more on this.
Nahima has lived with Down syndrome since infancy. Her sister Samira Bello has tirelessly sought treatment and done everything possible to ensure that Nahima can play and interact with her peers. Unfortunately, it has not been easy for her. While searching for relief for Nahima, she discovered that Nahima has special abilities in arts, painting and stitching. Though this progress has not come easy, through resilience and continuous coaching, Nahima has made significant strides.
Any other activity, day-to-day activity, like going to school, going to Islamia, we try to take her. Any other extracurricular activity, like whenever there's a program going on, we try to include her. She's really, really getting better in everything. She's becoming, her speech is becoming clearer. So, and with little training, day-to-day training, she's also becoming better. So
Children with Down syndrome may experience delayed language development, use few words, and encounter various mental and emotional challenges. Due to these difficulties, it often becomes hard for them to integrate into society, highlighting the need for social events that will enable them to relate with their peers.
Society usually often separate them or tend to ignore them because of the nature of their special needs. What we are trying to do is to bring these children together. If you look, you can see there are children with special needs, there are children that are the so-called normal children. We bring these children together to work together to explore the act we are carrying out so that they can understand that they are not any different from any child.
We're also trying to help schools to understand that exploring non-conventional means of learning like art, like coloring, different kind of things can also help them achieve their academic goals for children, not just children with special abilities.
Creating a safe space like this offers children with special needs the opportunity to build their self-esteem and develop coping skills. Experts believe that children like Nehima will maintain optimism for a future where they can realize their potential.
The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission has tasked diasporan investors to apply extra caution and authenticate businesses before they invest in them. This was at the Nigerians in Diaspora Investment Summit, which held in Abuja and has finally come to a close. News Central's Joshua Marayi brings us more details in this report.
It was the day 3 and the conclusion of the 7th Nigerian Diaspora Investment Summit held in Nigeria's federal capital, Abuja. The day featured pitching sessions for presenters in the real estate, infrastructure, education and professional services.
This day the pitching was on real estate, education, manufacturing, and it's been amazing the talents that we have in this country, the passion that we have in this country, and people that want to just do their businesses. So we've given them a platform to showcase their pitches and also get investors, and we're seeing results.
At the close of the event, the Secretary of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission urged all stakeholders to join investors in taking advantage of opportunities present in a bid to help boost the economy.
Only Nigerians, both those at home and those in the diaspora, can put hands together to develop Nigeria for Nigerians. Of course, others can come and partner with us.
The summit coordinator, however, cautioned investors at the event to make extra efforts in authenticating businesses before they invest.
As the Nigerian Diaspora Investment Summit landscape begins to expand and grow, we want to remind potential investors to exercise caution. There have been increasing reports of fraudulent schemes targeting unsuspecting individuals looking to invest in promising projects. So please, do your due diligence. Ours is to provide you the platform to build and connect, but do your due diligence.
As the 7th Nigerian Diaspora Investment Summit ends, organizers say efforts to mobilize Nigerians in the diaspora to establish a Diaspora Investment Trust Fund are almost complete. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Marayi.
The federal government says its upcoming International Air Show will help fast-track ongoing plans to concession the nation's airports. Minister of Aviation, during the signing-in of Memorandum of Understanding with partners for the successful hosting of the air show, says that it presents an opportunity to share ideas and display modern innovations in the sector. He added that the air show is expected to hold during the first quarter of 2025. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
A partnership Nigeria's Minister of Aviation seems passionate about. The partnership, which hopes to finalize arrangements concerning the hosting of Nigeria's upcoming air show, will ensure that the event, expected to attract players in the aviation from around the world, will help showcase Nigeria's aviation potentials to the international community and encourage investors to build bridges of collaboration to help improve the nation's aviation sector's infrastructure.
Nigeria is blessed, and aviation is actually the first point of call to any country. that's the first entrance to the country, and that's how critical this industry is. And the minister has been awesome in the last 1 year in, just making things happen. A lot of the policies that are driven within the sector, he's worked on it tirelessly. He talked about the IDERA, he talked about the Cape Town Convention.
For Nigeria's aviation minister, the upcoming Nigeria International Air Show offers a unique opportunity to fast-track government plans of concessioning of airports, promote the African Continental Free Trade Area and Single Africa Air Transport Market.
But this also helps to let people to come and see the kind of potentials we have so that they can also see how they can collaborate with us to develop our infrastructure. We have said it time and time again that we want to concession our airports. There are two key African policies that we also seek to promote by this, and that is, one is the African Continental Free Trade Area, which seeks to promote, free trade within the African region, and also the Single African Air Transport Market, SATAM, which we call SATAM, within the aviation ecosystem in Africa. SATAM is that policy in Africa that seeks to promote a single African sky where there will be no restriction within the African continent in terms of movements of goods and services.
The show is designed to last for 3 days, where stakeholders present are expected to share ideas and display modern innovation in the sector. In Abuja, for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Ahead of the upcoming COP29 Climate Change Summit in Baku, Azerbaijan, Nigeria's government has been tasked to present a united voice at the upcoming summit so as to mobilize the international summit for the nation's climate action plans. While stakeholders say much has not been done in the areas of birthing effective policies that will ensure all citizens, including women and persons with disabilities, are carried along in the nation's climate action plans, they, however, express optimism that much can still be achieved. News Central's Amadine Uyi reports.
With many nations, especially developed countries within the African continent, looking forward to the upcoming COP29 climate conference in Baku, Azerbaijan. Preparations are on the way by several groups in Nigeria to ensure effective participation and representation of the country. At this session organized by the Global Initiative for Food Security and Ecosystem Preservation, stakeholders present say efforts are ongoing to mobilize a united voice that will present a common front to the international community on the challenges being witnessed in the country.
We want to bring together, mobilize our voice, mobilize the different messages from every corner of the country so that we could present this to the representatives, those that are going to the COP29 in Baku, in Azerbaijan, so that we can inform the globe, particularly the Western world, because these are the people that are, or the countries that are emitting so much of the carbon challenges that we're talking about here.
Adolescent students had an opportunity to present their thoughts on the impact of climate change worldwide. Also, some members of the Nasarawa and Adamawa State Houses of Assembly gave updates on efforts by their parliaments to ensure climate action is taken as a priority by their state governments via legislation.
The Assembly have passed the first reading, is awaiting the second reading and other legislative processes. So that is the level, the status of the bill at the moment.
The bill I sponsored, of which it has passed from the State Assembly and waiting for assent, and waiting for governor's assent, we are looking at a way to bring out a policy, a long-term plan that when implemented will address the issue of climate change within our state, and also to bring all stakeholders involved in addressing the issue of climate change.
A disability rights advocate present also gave updates on how current government policies supporting effective action affect the disability community in Nigeria.
One of the biggest challenges that women and girls with disabilities is institutional barrier. The legal frameworks we have, our issues are not captured in terms of disaster risk management, flooding, earthquake, and other climate crises.
The high point of the event was the presentation of awards to deserving journalists' stories bordering on climate change affecting citizens. News Central's Bettina Nwili took the first runner position in the audio-visual category. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadun Uyi.
Welcome back. Chad's President Mohamed Idris Deby Itno has confirmed that the Chadian military recently launched airstrikes targeting Boko Haram positions in the Lake Chad region. According to the president, the strikes resulted in multiple casualties among the insurgents, though no specific numbers were disclosed. Deby said he personally initiated the counterattack following a Boko Haram assault on Chadian forces in the country's western region near the Nigerian border last month. The Chadian government intensified its efforts against Boko Haram at the end of October after the militant group carried out a deadly raid on a military garrison, killing around 40 people and injuring several others.
Nous avons lancé par la voie aérienne, nous avons fait plusieurs frappes des positions ennemies. Ils ont eu beaucoup de morts et beaucoup de blessés. Je vais dire que l'armée tchadienne va remporter. Et j'ose croire que l'armée va remporter. Et je prie Dieu le Tout-Puissant pour que notre armée puisse vaincre ces barbares qui tuent des enfants, qui égorgent des enfants. Donc ces gens-là ne méritent pas de pitié. Et Dieu est toujours avec les justes. Et je crois que Dieu va soutenir notre armée. Dieu va être aux côtés des justes. Donc, l'armée nationale tchadienne. À chaque fois qu'il y a des problèmes dans ces pays voisins, nous, on déploie nos soldats. On déploie nos enfants pour aller les soutenir. Mais quand notre pays, le Tchad, est frappé par l'ennemi, aucun soutien. Pourquoi nous devons toujours sacrifier nos enfants pour les autres et en retour, nous n'avons pas de soutien. Nous envoyons nos enfants, ils meurent là-bas et l'ennemi que nous frappons dans les pays voisins revient au lac Tchad. Donc j'ai décidé, à mon âme et conscience, et en tant que président de la République, je suis d'abord responsable de la sécurité du Tchad et du peuple tchadien.
Preparations are in full swing in Botswana for the inauguration of the country's new president, Duma Boko. President-elect Boko, who is also the leader of the umbrella Democratic Change, recently triumphed over Magwetsi Masisi of the Botswana Democratic Party in a decisive election. The ceremony is set to attract heads of state and government from across the Southern African Development Community region. As Boko takes office, it faces the pressing challenge of revitalizing the economy, which has been plagued by high unemployment and poverty levels. And welcome back. Residents in Los Angeles have been urged to evacuate as wildfires burning dangerously close to communities have proven difficult to contain. This warning follows a loss of numerous homes to the flames. Strong seasonal winds have driven embers up to 3 miles from the main fire near Camarillo, sparking fresh blazes on hillsides, farmland, and within residential areas. The mountain fire, which ignited early on Wednesday, quickly intensified. By Thursday, it had ravaged 20,485 acres, with towering flames surging unpredictably and forcing residents from their homes. Authorities reported that the fire was only 5% contained as of Thursday evening.
Numbers as of 7 o'clock this morning, the Century aircraft had flown the fire and measured it at 14,500 acres. This is a challenging fire and it's wind-driven fire, and so we are still at zero containment as we're still focusing on life safety and structure defense.
Fire continued to progress to the southwest throughout yesterday and into last night. Again, we had resources engaged throughout the evening. Last night, we had water-dropping helicopters over the fire the entire evening, which is irregular for any type of wildland incident, but we were able to capture that. Resources are actively engaged around the incident at this current time.
Let's now join our business desk for more business updates.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, on Thursday reaffirmed President Bola Tinubu's administration's commitment to the socio-economic growth of the country. Akume stated this during the distribution of startup kits to 689 graduates of the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission Youth Transformation Program in Benue State. Represented by its Chief of Staff, Simeon Jungu, the SGF highlighted various government initiatives, including vocational training programs, which he described as life-changing and aimed at benefiting 5,000 participants across the 6 pioneer states. He explained that the program had its grand launch in Minna, Niger State last Saturday, with the distribution of 365 startup kits to graduates, followed by a similar distribution in Jos Plateau State on Tuesday this week. The Central Bank of Nigeria has given the green light to the commercial, merchant and non-interest banks operating in Nigeria to trade with tradable foreign currencies deposited in dormant accounts created under the Foreign Currency Disclosure, Deposits, Repatriation and Investment Scheme, which were not invested immediately. The bank disclosed this in its recently approved guidelines for the implementation of Foreign Currency Disclosure Scheme, which commenced on November 6, 2024. The CBN explained that the foreign currency deposits being invested by the banks should be made available upon request by participants. Furthermore, the Apex Bank noted that approved banks should provide monthly returns from the scheme not later than the 14th of the next month. Ghana's year-on-year inflation rate has risen marginally to 22.1% in October 2024 from 21.5% in September 2024. This represents a 0.6 percentage points increase in the rate of inflation. On month, the country's rate of inflation fell to 0.9% in October 2024 from 2.8% in September 2024, indicating a 0.3 percentage increase in the rate of month-on-month inflation. The government statistician Professor Samuel Anim, addressing a news conference in Accra to release the October 2024 Consumer Price Index and inflation, revealed that the October inflation was the highest since July 2024, when the year-on-year inflation stood at 20.9%. He said non-food inflation rate rose to 0.6 percentage points and increased to 21.5% in October 2024 from 20.9% in September 2024, with a month-on-month change rate of 1.4%. And that's all on business news. I am Lekon Onobanjo.
And in sports, Super Eagles assistant coach Daniel Ogumodede has expressed the team's commitment to securing victory in their upcoming 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers against Benin Republic and Rwanda. Nigeria currently leads Group D with 10 points from 4 games and needs only 1 more point to qualify for the tournament in Morocco. Despite this, Ogumodede, also head coach of Remo Stars in Nigeria's Premier Football League, insists the team will treat both matches as a must-win cup finals to ensure success. Nigeria will play Benin on Thursday, November 14, and later play their final game against Rwanda on November 18. The Super Eagles aim to finish their qualifying campaign strongly, hoping for maximum points.
Every match we want to go like a cup final. We want to go to win all matches. It doesn't matter whether, I'm not even aware we just needed a point. All I'm aware is, according to what he told us, the mentality he gave to everyone is to go to all matches and win. We just want to go to all matches and win, regardless of the number of points that is left to qualify. First, the priority is for us to qualify. Secondly, to win all games as they come. We take every game as they come, and the maximum 3 points is what is important to us.
Former Super Eagles coach Gernot Rohr has named his Benin Republic squad to face Nigeria next week as the qualification series for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations approaches its penultimate match day. Rohr unveiled a squad that included the return of some players who had not been used in the last matches. They include a quartet of Serge Obasa, Lenny Peringuel, Tosin Ayegun, and Ryan Adigo. On Thursday next week, Benin will face Nigeria in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. Even a draw will see Nigeria picking one of the two tickets from Group D. And that's all the news we have for you for this hour. But before we go, a quick look at some of the major stories. Major stories so far. Power Minister has ordered immediate replacement of outdated equipment to address national grid failures. Defense Headquarters has identified the existence of new terrorist group, La Karawaz. We also told you that Chadian military has launched airstrikes against Boko Haram, inflicts heavy losses. You can watch News Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274. You can also stream live on YouTube and on Facebook. Many thanks for watching. Stay here. 10 a.m. Jasiri will begin with the ladies. I'm Joe Hanson. Good morning.